Throughout your sales dialogue and your sales presentation, your audience will be reading your body language and making decisions about whether or not to trust you, whether or not you have their best interests in mind, and whether or not you're going to follow through on your promises. It's very difficult to send these positive signals when you come across as nervous and stressed. To help you develop a confident demeanor, we're going to turn to the experts in staying calm under pressure and touch on some of the strategies used by Navy SEALs during BUDS training as described in the book Navy Seal Mental Toughness by Chris Lambertsen. To get a better understanding of why we get nervous, let's get a very simplified view of what's going on in our head during a sales meeting when things get a little bit bumpy. While this is not a neurology lesson and we don't claim to be neurology experts, a basic understanding of this science is explained in the Mental Toughness book, and it's worth discussing here. Navy SEALs training takes into consideration research on how our brains control and react to emotions to help soldiers better anticipate and control their physiological reaction to fear. To keep things high level, we'll just touch on two main parts of our brains and how they process information. Our amygdala regulate emotional responses and hormone secretions. It's responsible for fear conditioning and constructs our fight or flight responses. When we receive a signal from our prospect that things are not going as planned, that information is interpreted in our brains in a few ways. But it's important to know that it reaches our amygdala first. In fact, it takes twice as long for our prefrontal cortex to kick in and react to the stimuli. And that's where our executive function and social control enables us to respond in a more professional manner. This basic information helps us see why when we sense fear, a fight or flight response is our initial reaction, which can increase our body heat, breathing rate, and also push blood to our larger muscle groups, which declines our fine motor skills. This response is great if we're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. However, it's not helpful at all when we're trying to portray a calm and professional demeanor to a prospect. Sweating with shaky hands is not the look we're going for. While it's currently considered impossible to change the way information is processed in our brain, through practice, you can learn to prepare for these normal responses and better control them, so instead of defending your position and building a wall, you cushion the prospect's objection and start building that bridge. While most sales professionals won't be jumping out of airplanes or running covert missions, we will experience many stressful situations that will require a calm demeanor and a clear head in order to properly cushion and clarify objections when we hear them. So let's explore the 4 pillars of mental toughness that the Navy SEAL trainers use to help soldiers remain calm and cool under pressure. Goal setting. Committing to goals is a critical component to success, both inside and outside your career. To do this correctly, you must follow these guidelines. First, be sure to use the SMART formula. If you haven't heard of SMART, that's specific, measurable, aggressive, realistic, and time-bound goals. Next, set goals that you plan to achieve in less than a year that will help you hit your long-term goals or goals that will take more than a year to achieve. Set goals that are both activity and outcome-based. Activity goal examples would be goals such as prospecting activities and development and training activities. And outcome-based goals would include goals such as exceeding quota. And one of the most critical goal-setting strategies used by Navy SEALs is micro-goal setting. Set goals that you plan to achieve by lunchtime or within a certain time frame of your sales meeting. For example, you might set a micro-goal to gain your prospect's buying criteria before the halfway point of your meeting. Micro goals that are connected to hitting your bigger picture goals are a great way to assure you stay on track. Next, visual imagery is used by Navy SEALs, athletes, and professionals in many other high-stress roles. Walking through the details of your prospecting activities and sales meetings helps your body feel as though it's already experienced these actions before you actually do them. Be sure to rehearse each step. Picture and prepare for various situations and outcomes, and also allow yourself to feel the associated feelings of your story. So when you do step into that meeting, your body will feel as though you've already done that several times. We have the ability to speak to ourselves hundreds of times a day, and if we allow this self-talk to be negative, we will create powerful limiting beliefs that will prevent us from achieving our goals. The good news is that also means that we have the opportunity to use positive self-talk to encourage the right behaviors as well. Start building an I can and an I will mindset for yourself so you can increase your confidence. This is especially important during training and practice to encourage you to put in the hours of work it takes to be good out in the field. Finally, practice arousal control to help your prefrontal cortex maintain cognitive control under stress. Breathing techniques are used by Navy SEALs to stay calm under the most intense situations. First, practice the 4-2-4 breathing by breathing in 4 seconds, holding for 2 seconds, and breathing out again for 4 seconds. Practice doing this discreetly so you can implement it during a meeting without anyone noticing. This technique works best when you start it about 5 to 10 minutes before an anticipated stressful situation. Once you're comfortable with your breathing, you can also start practicing pulse awareness. To do this, find your radial pulse and consciously imagine your pulse slowing down. When combining this technique with your 4-2-4 breathing, the effects are amazing. Practice these techniques in normal situations so you're prepared to use them under pressure. You are now armed with some of the most powerful ways to increase your mental toughness. Using these techniques as you train for sales meetings and execute sales meetings will help you anticipate and control your natural fight or flight responses to fear and to stress. It will also help you maintain a calm and cool demeanor at times when most sales professionals will panic. So practice these techniques, and I know you'll be ready for whatever challenges come your way. I can't wait to see you in action.